What's going on, guys? How is everybody doing? Today, I am in a new location again. I'm across the hallway from my apartment that I'm moving into, and I want to talk about getting your life together here, trying to do practical things, and does it get old? Does it get frustrating? Because if coming to Nairobi, Kenya, if you're worried about the nostalgia wearing off, or you kind of, the euphoria of first getting somewhere. I've been here for a while and I'm doing everything possible that's kind of boring and annoying to get your life together here. And so I'll kind of talk about how I'm feeling about everything as far as my move. If you guys didn't know, I purchased the vehicle. I've been driving. I've been stopped by the police, furniture shopping, servicing the vehicle, still looking at property, doing content. So it's been quite hectic since I've been over here, and I've been doing a lot. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I'll leave the floor open to you guys because you guys are part of the show, asking questions and getting involved. I think Kai is out, so he's not going to be coming on tonight. I just got back from the mall. That's why I was a little bit late. And I'm always late here because everything takes a little bit longer than you expect it to take, basically, even on a Sunday when there's not as much traffic. And excuse me. Whoa, wow, more people hopped in. What's going on, everybody? How is your Sunday? Don't be a ninja watcher. Say hello. Hey there. Oh, man. So I haven't talked to him, so I feel bad talking about the situation without talking to the person you're talking about, but it's not looking good. It's really not looking good. And I'm not really in that whole world. I just try to be open-minded, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. And, C. Griffin, B, KO, Rich's Method, what's going on? I'm a D. How are you? What's going on, guys? How's your Sunday going? I know it's kind of early. He messed up big time. Yeah, man. It's really concerning because there's not that many Black Americans that have come to Kenya, and people are gonna judge Black Americans off of what they see and hear. So one individual can have a big impact on our perception here, and it's quite concerning. I'll say that. Jesse Whitehorn, what's going on? It's been a while. Oh, everyone knows about this. Okay, jeez. This is for the first time you jumped on live. It's going to be see. I try to think the best, but it's not looking good. It's really not looking good. But because so we met in person for a little bit during the day, and I don't want to talk about people on the internet till I talk to them individually, even if I think they messed up. So I don't know. C. Griffin, don't even worry about it. It's not good. It's not good stuff to even talk about. Oh, you ran into KG bar next door. Oh boy. Yeah, very concerning. Yep, World Star, Nairobi Gossip Club. I said, oh no. Bar next door is a nice spot to go to. We watched the Kenya versus Madagascar game at Bar Next Door, Runda, and it was really nice. But that was like during the day. I'm surprised there wasn't that many people. I was trying to find like a good spot with good energy to watch the game. It was okay, but it wasn't as hype as I was thinking it would be. Oh man, I'm trying to avoid this topic because I really don't want to get involved in all that, and I don't want to talk about people again without talking to them. So, did I move into my Airbnb? No, I'm across the hall from the property that I purchased. So I'm renting from someone across the hall from my unit. As that was kind of what the title for this video is like everything that you try to do here, especially as a foreigner, is just going to take you more time. But honestly, even I think Kenyans things will take long to do. So like I have a designer that did the design, is purchasing all of the stuff, installing everything, the TV. I got wall panels. I changed all the lighting in the property, but it's been about 3 weeks of them doing that, and they're still not done. But I have to check out of here, so I'm going to go rough it in my spot. But the mattress and appliances and all that stuff are coming. I actually just left the mall where I bought all the appliances, and they're delivering it tomorrow. So that is one thing. They will deliver your stuff real quick, a lot of these companies. But that's taken longer than expected. I've been here since July 7th. And so I'm almost 2 months down. I only have a month left, and I'm still not moved into my place. And Kai and I were talking about this a lot. Is like, for those of you guys looking to come and purchase real estate here, I think if you're doing it on your own and you're only here for 2 weeks, or doing a handover or whatever you're trying to do, it's really not enough time, because there's always going to be something that delays you longer than you think it's going to take to do whatever you're trying to do. Like even in this building that I'm at, there's still a lot of construction going on. Marcus Brown, what's up, man? How are you? What made me move here? I'm still back and forth right now, but the quality of life is better. I need to make a video about this. The quality of life is better, especially because of the affordability, but not only because of the affordability. I think it's a warmer, more personable atmosphere. People are generally nicer, even though I got stopped by the police. So maybe I should talk about that story at some point. Quality of life, people, those are the two big ones. And the weather, although it's been cold here. Not what I want to hear. I figure 2 weeks I can get my property done before. I mean, you can do it, but like it depends what you mean together. Like, because a couple people have been reaching out to me that have purchased things, and I've checked on their properties, and it's a bit concerning, like the handover situation for some of these properties. And I'm like, and they're getting told one thing, and then when I go see the property, it is not in the condition that it looks like. Video is very misleading. Even when I'm doing like the property tours with the videos, I want to judge like the quality off of the video, because the quality of the like development, because video don't show the small details. And then the handover process can always be quite frustrating and time consuming, especially if you want to try to get them to fix a lot of things. So it's pretty tough. Just B, what's going on? What's going on? It's time to reband as a coastal Swahili. You can do it, Ryan. I tell people I'm from Malindi sometimes. And actually, one of the security guards at like a gate when I was driving through, because I'll greet them in Swahili. I'll say Nyaje, I'll say Sasa, or something like that. And then they started speaking Swahili to me. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know what you're saying. Verna Ingram, what's going on, man? How are you? What's up, man? It's been forever. Don't forget to save you. Okay. Shiko, hi. How are you going to call me Brian and my name spelled? My whole life, people call you Brian by accident. What do you think about developments along Lathaya Road in Kileleshwa opposite Samaki? I was just over there. This is from the developer doing Diamond Ivy, I think. No, 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 no. That one's across from Mondo Grill. I don't know this location across from Samaki. Wait, I think I drove by that. I can't recall it off of the top of my head. If you say the name of the development, I have been over there. So I have a video coming out with, I think, the developer you're talking about, and they're doing a project in Westlands. I have to edit, but there's a backlog because I just got my internet situation improved. So there's backlog on content and editing. There's a hour and a half, almost 2 hour conversation with um, a law firm that I like the vibe so far, but again, so this is something that I'm about to start putting disclaimers on this content, because all I can do is talk to people that are reputable or seem to be reputable and ask the best questions I can. But when I'm bringing people onto the platform, unless you hear me endorse them directly, I am bringing them on the platform for you guys to get what they're saying and come to your own conclusions about their level of credibility. Obviously, as I'm building a bigger network here, and I basically don't want to endorse anybody I haven't worked directly with, right? So if I talk to a whole bunch of law firms, but I'm not working with them, I can't endorse them. But I may say they seem good. But again, unless I've had a positive business dealing with someone, uh, I I don't want to lead people astray. Even like in the US, like I almost stopped recommending contractors now, because I'll send someone, an electrician that's done good work for me, and then all of a sudden they have a horrible experience. It's kind of, it's hazardous, especially as more and more people are looking in this direction. And I try to be as responsible with the information as possible. I just don't want to mislead people, and I don't want, unless I'm specifically endorsing someone, please don't take it as an endorsement, because I see people with some of the agents, and they're saying, oh, this information's not right, or this is not right, or whatever. My goal on the channel is to interview multiple people and let you guys decide who you like, who you agree with, who you think is providing the best information. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. Let me see. Your face looks thinner. Do you notice any weight loss? A lot of people are saying they're losing weight without change. My eating when I first got here was pretty bad. If you guys, I don't know if my posts show up. I've been posting a lot on YouTube, like just pictures and stuff. We've gone food shopping and have been eating out a little bit less, but the food is definitely more natural and better for you, but it's very easy to eat a lot, especially because when you're going out to restaurants and things like that, you could be getting bigger portions, or the food is more affordable, so you buy more. But I appreciate that, because honestly, I gained like 25 pounds in the last year or so. I was actually in a good place, and now I'm pretty upset about the fitness level that I'm at. And then I have this issue going on with this development where I purchased right now. And actually, I really like the developer, but I don't like to do negative stuff, but I might have to drop a negative video about it, because I'm having a kind of a dispute that could be a legal dispute about something. It's kind of a small thing, but it's like an integrity thing and like doing bad business. But I'm giving them till tomorrow to rectify the situation before I talk about it. Because, I think that's the right thing to do. And honestly, I don't like to do any negative stuff on here, but I know people that are buying with this developer, and I know that I was pretty excited about some of the development. So we'll see. I still am excited about their developments, but you just have to wait till tomorrow, because I'm gonna have to talk to them about what's going on. But we'll see. We will see. Dang, I spit all on the screen. Ryan was right. I see why you're staying away from the topic. Wow. Yeah. Oof. Mia Kenyon has followed Black American culture for a long time, since my teenage days. Yeah, but probably part of the culture, the negative aspects of Black American culture are why I'm here, probably a little bit. But it's hard to, Black American culture is a wide perspective, and I think there's some very antisocial, self-destructive aspects to it, but there's also good stuff. But the bad stuff is definitely in pop culture. It probably leads the way, and maybe, I don't know if it's the majority, but it's a lot. And you know, all I could do is be me and try to have integrity. And especially, again, it's not fair to represent a whole community of people, like, but I mean, that's what's going to happen, right? Like, if people only interact with one Black American and have bad experience, they might have bad feelings or see stuff online. So that's just the reality of what is going on. Jesse, I see you messaging me. Oh gosh, I was really hoping for better. Jambo, Moana Fagan, what's going on, Mambo? Or do I say Posana to that? I knew his type were bound to show out sooner or later. Remember when he joined live? I tried to discourage you, Kenny. Yeah, I felt like it could have went one of two ways, and then it went the way that I was hoping it wasn't going to go. Are you still excited about Pandora? Yes. I have FOMO about Pandora, but Kai did bring up, and this is a reservation, and it's not for everyone, for the reason that they're not allowing, this is a verbal thing. They're not allowing Airbnbs short term. I think you could do midterm. My conversation with Kai, though, is in the back of my mind. I'm like, how are they enforcing that? Like, because how does anyone enforce anything over here? Things are very not organized. So, like, how are they going to know that you're doing it? But it's a liability, because if they do enforce it, now you can't do short-term Airbnb. But if you're in the member first category, I did a pretty long chat with Christine Ole from Pam Golding, which I actually met her on the first trip when I didn't make any content about Kenya or anything. And she had some quite interesting things to say that were contrary to a lot of other real estate people. And she's a specialist in the Kilimani market. And so I think that's something that everybody should watch. It's a little interesting because the longer form content that is more packed with really good information. And if you want to become like well-versed in the real estate market here, which obviously isn't for everybody, you probably should watch all that kind of stuff, because the law firm video is almost 2 hours. Christine's video is about 45 minutes. Faith's video, which just came out recently, which it did have bad audio, sorry guys, these are like people that have been in the industry for enough time to have probably some useful information to pay attention to. But yeah, I like Pandora a lot. I would buy a unit there. I think if it goes well, it's going to be a landmark type of exclusive listing, an exclusive property where it's like, oh, you're at Pandora. Wow. I think it has the potential for that. If the mall doesn't come out as good, or they don't get the right people, the right vendors in there, it won't be as good. It seems like so many good places to eat from your pitches. Oh my gosh. Is it bad if I make a food guide? I was going to make a food guide that kind of like talked about the food, but also like the type of vibe? Is it good for dates? Is it good for like friends? Is it good for a business meeting? Like, what's the type of vibe over there? Because I know a lot of spots, and I could save you some time, and it won't be $100. I'll make it cheaper. So I don't know if people are interested in that. I'll make it like 10, 20 bucks. But okay, all these documents I'm going to keep updating over time as I go to more places. So just a thought I was having. There's a big super chat in here. Hold on, let me get to that. His behavior isn't Black American culture. That's rap gang culture. We all don't subscribe. But it is Black American culture. It's not the whole culture, but it's a dominant aspect of it, to be honest, I think. Mia Kenyon has followed Black American culture for a very long time. You are some of the finest exports from the Black American folk. One thing I do notice is the incessant obsession with sex and partying. Well, there's a big contingent of younger guys that are here that are very popular. And I think that's like a young guy thing. So that's a high priority in your life at that time, or at least for us. Maybe that's right. Maybe that is part of the culture. I don't find that abnormal, though, to be honest. It's a little, when you're putting it on a public platform, then now it's up to people's interpretation. But unfortunately, me as an older guy now, I probably would act like that. So I'm pretty understanding about that. But some of this other stuff going on is too much. And I almost wanted to do this about, I don't like being negative, but I do, from foreigners in general, and I'm really disappointed because I think most Black Americans do come here probably with more of a pure heart than most people, to be honest, because of the Black connection, and we're trying to reconnect, and that's identity is important to us. I know to most Africans in general, the whole Black thing isn't a thing, but for us it is, and it's like we do have a component that wants to be here for romanticized, ancestral, like, for good stuff, basically trying to reconnect, trying to get back to maybe your original culture where certain things started from and all that. But there is a lot, like if you go to the coast, there's a lot of exploitation. I'm trying to be careful with how I say this because I don't want to be too judgmental. How do I say? I don't want to just blame the white guys, but when I see white guys come here and when ladies tell me about some of the stories about how they're treated, I'm like, see, that's like this, I'm coming from this other place that's better and I want to come like take advantage of that in a weird way, I probably should, I should refine the argument before I talk about it too much, but I was going to talk about this. And it's unfortunately somebody from our community appears to be kind of on that time as well, in a very like over the top type of way. But I'll think about it more before I talk about it. Debauchery and not a lot of putting in work. Yeah, true. Less with other Black diaspora, except maybe for Jamaican. Perhaps you can speak on this. Why the stark difference in culture? Maybe. I don't like to get into this sociological stuff too much because I'm just me, Get out, enjoy the weather and the vibe, and eat good. Yep. I'm still looking for the lawyer video. However, I did see the one with the woman in Kilimani, great info. I've been trying to upload it for 2 days. It's a huge file. It's been a problem, even though I upgraded to internet. No, please make a food god. Okay. Hey, Jesse Whitehorn, super appreciated. $20 super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that because I've spent so much money. So I'm going to talk about that in a second, actually, because when you come here, like I'm here for real. I've been here for 3 months. I'm getting everything established, getting the base established, basically the beachhead, like the area where I can operate, and I want to be comfortable and be able to do a lot of different things. So I'm setting up the infrastructure for that, and it's time consuming. It's not expensive in comparison, but you do spend a lot of money. I spent 500,000 shillings today on appliances for the new place. Maybe I'll probably make a video with the receipts. Don't risk it, Ryan. The things that work in Kenya work pretty well. If it's the kind of residency they envisage, they'll definitely enforce the no short-term lets. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't. I'm not saying anyone should risk it. I'm just a little skeptical of it, but I wouldn't tell people to like buy and then say, "Oh, don't worry about it." I would be worried about it. I'm just saying. But also, I'm not a big Airbnb. I always thought it was a bit of a fad in the States. I thought it was overdone, and I think it's being overdone here as well. I think the same thing's happening, where the winners will still win with Airbnb, and there is going to be a bigger market for it in general. But because I don't think the government's going to like crack down on it like they did in the States, but it's oversold because, and this is like a less sophisticated investor looks at, oh, the gross rent is double, maybe even almost triple. Let me do that. But there's all these other expenses and factors and issues that you run into doing Airbnb, and the operating cost is more and the time cost is more. And then again, it's kind of saturated right now. So I actually think unfurnished is better unless you are in a really prime area in Westlands. And Pandora is not in a walkable area towards the business area or the commercial district. It's on the other side of the expressway, which is good to live long term. It's better there to stay there long term than it is, or it's more for that than if you're in the middle of by Westgate or Sarit in prime downtown Westlands. Jesse Whitehorn, thank you. Lunch is on. I appreciate that, man. Ryan, have you heard about the incident? Oh, yep. I've heard about it. I briefly talked. I didn't really talk about it, but I touched on it. The difference is that non-Black Americans are not loud public about what they're doing. Yes, most of the foreigners here are not creating content about what they're doing. That is the difference. Are you mixed race, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, so my mom's white and my dad's Black. I'm too Fulani. So many Black Americans have been here for years, and this is the first incident. I don't know if it will be a problem. However, there is a stupid diaspora war going on. So yeah, that's really dumb, and it's an internet thing. And unfortunately, like people that I like are like promoting it. And that was some questions I got on the LNN network that we'll see. You got to watch it when it comes out. They were waiting to release the video until after the the football tournament here is over. So we'll see. I don't know when that's coming out yet. They definitely enforce Airbnb in the right building because security sees who's coming in and going. 3 months ago, I booked the Airbnb. They had to be canceled. Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. Booked, because when I go places, they don't seem like they know what's going on. Booked a week before she started telling me if they say you are visiting, oh, wow, you got to say you're visiting. That's crazy. There are very successful Black Americans all over Africa. Most don't create content, though. There are also some very toxic things I've seen from China and Mzungu culture, but they don't stream it. True. That's facts. The Mzungus are the lords of debauchery, but are very discreet and will not publicize their activities all over the internet. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I'm glad you guys catch that. Do you regret doing a live stream with this Relo guy? How did you meet him? He invited me on his live stream before he came out here, and he was nice to me. And I always try to treat people with respect and give them, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, even if maybe it looks one way. I try to be open-minded. No, I don't regret like doing it. Like, I'm not a big like, oh, they're on your platform type of guy. Like, what someone else says is not what I said, and what someone else does is not what I do. Now you're hanging out with people and they're doing certain things and they're doing that stuff. I think that's a little bit different. Honestly, that day that happened, I invited him out to watch the soccer match, and everything was chill, and I can't help but think, like, because it was me and somebody else, and my energy is a lot different. So I was like, but they go do their own thing, and that's what they do. I'm not going to be a part of that. What happened and who was Relho? Oh my gosh. Yet Airbnb wise, one of the 2 unfurnished places I'm looking at. I'm waiting to find out tomorrow if I can Airbnb in their building. The other unit, they already told me I can when not here. That's cool. You're subleasing it? I say unfurnished is a better way to me. Let the tenant invest into the unit. Chances are they will be long-term tenant, maybe years. People usually don't move that much with. Exactly. I think it's so stable, and they're going to take care of the property a lot more, right? Because they furnished it, and they probably do plan to be there for a long time. Although the one tenant I had, my first tenant in the Lavington property, moved out real fast. But I really think that property has the developer is still the HOA management, and I think they're terrible. And there was some like issues with the water, and then the internet was messed up, and it wasn't good. So I think they didn't like that. So I think that's why they moved out. Which, when you guys purchase a property, these off-plan properties, the developer is in charge of the management for at least the first 6 months. And then once all the handovers are done, basically it's like and this is explained with the lawyers, you have a share in the HOA, and the HOA can kick out the old management or the old developer, and you guys as the HOA, it's not called a HOA, but I'm going to call it a homeowners association, because that's what we would understand it to be in the US. You can run it yourselves. You can hire a different management company. You can do whatever you want. You're not beholden to that developer necessarily. Problem is, Kenyans go by stereotypes big time. I think everybody does. Their opinions on Nigerians changed like a switch when a few got involved with similar situations and actual femicides. Yeah, the Nigerians got a bad rap. But I think Kenyans are just very online, and they're kind of like jokey about stuff. So if there's like a trend, they're gonna, meme into the trend. I don't know how serious they are about those opinions. You know what I mean? Like, just because you see it, there's like levels to what people are saying. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my mom's on here. Hi, Mom. That's my mom, guys. Hey, Mom. Love you. How are the dogs? What's going on? How are you? I'm an older African American engaged to a beautiful Kenyan woman. I am aware that my American has to do with proximity to whites. Yeah, that can happen too. Is it difficult to drive in Nairobi? When I first got here the first time, driving was probably the least favorite thing. Like, even in an Uber, I hated it. Like, it was so Like I had so much anxiety about it just because of the way they're driving, how close everyone gets to each other. The more I paid attention to the chemistry that they have when they're driving and looking at the roads and stuff, the more I understand it. And then getting used to being on the other side takes a little bit of time, but not really. The thing that's actually probably like the most difficult for me is driving with my right hand instead of my left hand, which the video might be reversed, but because like if you shift or whatever, it's on your other side to go in reverse or whatever you have to do. So you really should drive with your right hand because it's weird driving with your left and then this hand is against the door. It's weird. That's probably one of the more awkward things. The traffic circles or the roundabouts are a little confusing, like who has the right of way when you're going into it, and then watching out for bodas can be a little interesting. But once you pay attention to like the signals that people give each other, like by how they're moving their vehicle, it's not that bad. I do feel like if there was a time for me to have an accident or something bad to happen, would be in the first short period of time of me having the vehicle and driving. Nope, there's some communities people don't rent to. I just joined. So what happened with you and the Kenyan police? So I was going to the mall and I was at one of the bigger traffic circles and there's a cop there and the light's turning red. So I'm stopping at the light and the cop, they just wave in all kinds of weird directions. I don't know if he was doing this or he was waving me to go through the red light, which they'll do. So I stop and he says, I'm not listening to him. So he comes up to the window like, you're not following my instructions. And I was like, do you want me to go? And now I know that they see anything as an opportunity to get some money. So he hops in the passenger side and he's like, oh, pull over here. I'm like, oh, crap. And I pull over. He's like, not obeying a police officer's order is a $20,000 fine. Let's go to the station. And I had been stopped when a Kenyan was driving before, so I see how they do it. So I kind of knew, and I've had these conversations with a lot of people. Again, if you want to move somewhere properly, talk to people about these issues. So when I got stopped last time, we ended up paying the cop 3,000 shillings. That's what ended up getting negotiated. But this time, he was like, yeah, it's 20,000. And look, if you look too scared, they're going to really take advantage of you. Plus, I greeted him in Swahili, and I said some other Swahili words. I can't remember exactly what I was saying, but he was like, you speak Swahili? I was like, Kidogo. And so I kind of wanted to throw him off. I want him to not know where I'm coming from, but I show him my driver's license and passport because you need your driver's license and your passport to drive legally. I checked it a million times. I asked the attorney, everybody verified. And he's like, so, and I just was looking at him after he said 20,000, like, yeah, okay. And he's like, well, we can work this out. I was like, sure. And he's like, 10,000. I was like, 1,000. And then he was like, 5,000. I was like, 3,000. And then he was like, 5,000. I was like, 3,000. And he's like, last chance, 5,000. And I was like, fine. So I just pasted him 5,000. If where I messed up is I need to go to the ATM and I need to have cash in the car and like 500 or 1,000 and be like, my phone's not working and this is all I have. I probably could have got away with the 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that. But I didn't have cash. So my recommendation would be to drive with small cash in your vehicle, in the glove box or wherever, because if you get stopped, you'd be like, oh, I don't have M-Pesa. I don't have, I'm going to the embassy or something. I don't know. Say something if you want to say that. I don't know. And just use cash because they're going to prefer the cash because I have his phone number and his name and everything because M-Pesa links you to the person. So whatever. I look at it, it's less than a traffic ticket in the US. Although I don't think I did anything wrong. I stopped at the stop sign and he's like waving in a weird way. Maybe he was telling me to go and I stopped. But it's BS. Again, when you go somewhere, there's pluses and minuses. I don't know if it's a plus or a minus because I'd probably rather pay $5,000 than deal with a speeding ticket from the US. So whatever, I don't know. Freedom, saying hi to my mom. Tata, what's going on? Came here to say, come home. We got business to do. I'm ready. I'm ready. It's on my. I got you. Mary said, hi, Mom. What's up, Mom? I love the Pandora place, and I agree. I think it's going to be great. You've been watching? Oh, my God, it's cringe. Hey, Ryan's mom, welcome to the stream. Tara, I'm keeping a close eye on that place. I like it a lot. It is a good one. Hi, Ryan's mom. Your son is doing you proud. You did a good job. Oh, thanks, guys. And that's the thing with like some of these other communities. You guys are so cool because when I was on that other person's live, it's a whole different kind of people on there. And I'm very appreciative of you guys who, follow the content. And Jesse Whitehorn gave me a nice dinner money and a $20 super sticker. I really appreciate that. And I was thinking about that today. Like, dang, I have a cool community, and they would never accept some of the stuff that other people would be doing. So it's pretty cool. And I guess it's a reflection of what we're trying to do here. So that's pretty cool. How is the money flow there? What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, you lost me. Hops in. Yeah, they get in your car. Oh, my internet is not steady. Let me see. Let's see. Can you guys still hear me? Hold on. This probably isn't the best way to check. Mic check, mic check. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, guys. Again, internet's weird. Hey, Ryan, your internet is not steady. Could you kindly take care of that? Good conversation there. I love it. Greetings from the cold, Nakuru, and the Rift Valley. I would love to. I upgraded the internet, so I don't know. But the upload speeds are a problem. If it's a Lady Kenyan cop, oblige or you will see bad things. I was told not to pay because they will always target you. You definitely gonna have to pay something. Always lose loose money. Yep. They don't accept M-Pesa to their personal numbers. Maybe, yeah. You could get that cop in serious trouble if you want it. Yeah, but paying the bribe is also illegal. So you don't need to stand your ground with these cops. The court fines be cheaper than what you pay as bribes. Better to just fight it out in court because they never have the evidence if you're innocent. Yeah, I don't know how it works. And I'm not trying to deal with all that. Take the cops and M-Pesa number to the EACC, East Africa Community. Always have loose money. That's probably the biggest thing. The most I've given a Kenyan cop after a traffic violation is $1,000 because he handled the matter unprofessionally. If he does that, he is reporting himself to. What do you think about the Pandora project? I think it's great. We talked about it a little bit already. Remember, you cannot do Airbnb there. And the groundbreaking video is in members first. That was an interesting experience. It wasn't like the Diplomat one, but very cool. The cool thing about being over there is like a lot of the players in real estate in the area know because it was me and Kai there, they know us and I know them now. So like, it's kind of a community. Like the agents send me updates. The developers are sending me updates. I'm on a lot of their like lists to communicate with. So I'm getting like early access to information. The one to look out for, okay, Marble West. If you liked Emerald, Marble West is very close to that. And I like their quality as well. That video is going to be coming out. So if you liked Emerald's location, definitely look at Marble West. And then if you liked Emerald's build quality, which top tier in my opinion, they have a project in Kilimani called Amethyst coming out. I'm trying to get that as soon as they release the information and they're selling it. I'm going to put that out there as soon as possible. It's going to go members first though, but these projects are getting sold out before you can get access to the better floors. So getting early access to them is important. And again, guys, I'm not trying to say you guys should buy, especially like remotely. I'm getting very concerned. Like I know people are reaching out to me that are buying and they're not very present here or they haven't been present here. You need someone on the ground looking out for you. You really do. I'm not just saying that to promote myself or anything, because I don't even have a model. Like I don't have like a business here as far as like looking at people's properties for them or anything, but you need someone to do that. It's very concerning because I'm here and you got to check on everything. Sid, what's going on? Send a cheeky little email to EACC if you got his M-Pesa number. I appreciate it. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? I agree. I love this community. I actually look forward to Sunday mornings. Thanks. I know that because sometimes okay. So I was tired. I wanted to take a shower. I had to rush home because my credit card's still smoking hot from all the money I had to spend when I was buying the appliances at the mall. I wanted to change into sweatpants and just chill out, but I wanted to hang out with you guys for at least a little bit. So, and you guys give me life. You guys motivate me. So it's really cool. And I know that it's helpful because I know there's some people who have dodged some bullets that I've talked to based off of just small bits of information that's coming from here. So it feels worthwhile, you know. Isaac, loud and clear. Thank you. Martino, he can claim coercion and threat of violence. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Appreciate you. He loves your country, and y'all are lucky to have such an honest man. Thanks, Mom. The cops can't accept sending money to the M-Pesa. They really, well, I sent it. He gave me somebody's M-Pesa number. Somebody got 5,000, which I felt like 3,000 would have been. I feel like I overpaid. But shoot, I wasn't going to risk it. Well done, Ryan. You're our inspiration. What is your thoughts about Marble West and Mont Bleu? Mont Bleu, I don't know. Oh, Mont Bleu is by the same developer, though. I don't know a lot about that project, but that developer, I looked at their past projects, especially Marina Bay, and I think that's still Kilimani. I thought that was one of the better. I know I keep saying a lot of these developers are on the higher end, but Dennis has sent me a lot of these developers, and he knows I'm not picky, but there's a certain standard that I'd be looking for. And there's other projects that I've been to that I haven't made videos about. One, because I'm not trying to be negative and mess up. But if you ask me, I'll tell you what I think about it. But I'm not going to make a public video trashing a developer necessarily. It would have to be like some crazy situation. But generally, if I'm putting it out there, it's at least decent. Because some of you guys are sending me projects that I haven't even heard of, or I even just look at their marketing and feel like they're probably a little dusty. So most of the ones that we have covered have been at least mid to higher end. So I like that developer from Marble West. I like the amenities that they had there. Amenities are becoming probably one of the most important things to me, especially if you're doing Airbnb. It's really nice to have good amenities. What else should I? EACC is Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Marble West and Amethyst. So Amethyst is done by the Emerald developer, but I think if you care about the build quality, I think you can feel very safe purchasing with them. And you don't know 6 months from now, Emerald, some people complain about something, but so far it seems like they delivered. Like the renders look exactly like what I saw. One thing with Kenyan cops, don't ever allow them into your car. The moment you do, you've already lost and you're setting yourself up. Yeah, probably. That's a good tip. How do you feel about property prices in the Lavington area? Lavington's interesting because they still have a lot of zoning restrictions for building heights. So it keeps it a little bit less dense. And Lavington has like old money there too. Some of the estates there, like if you look at the land values, it's insane. The rental market, probably not as good because it's a bit further out of the way. But again, for long-term people, I think it's pretty good. And I like it. Like it's somewhere that you can live for sure. But as a pure investment, Westlands, and Westlands. Biggest bribe I ever paid was $1K. Been in court so many times with the greedy ones. It's procedure at this point. Yeah, why do you want to spend time going to court? Like my time is worth more than whatever time it takes to do all that nonsense, to be honest. Just Be, we appreciate your time. Great content, very informative. Thank you. And Just Be, thank you for being a member. Appreciate that. Ryan, why not start and market a business overseeing real estate investments in Nairobi? It's a lot of responsibility. This is more fun because I know people, when you start making things business, there becomes different expectations. I could definitely do it and make it a very effective thing to do. I'm trying to be like half retired where I only do work that I want to do when I want to do it. And so if I make a commitment too big or like trying to do something, I don't know. I just want to have a nice vibe. And if I feel like checking something out for somebody, I will. Maybe I might do it. There's a bunch so this trip has been setting up infrastructure. So I'm going to incorporate a business here. And I actually am in the process of forming a trust out here. And actually I did the whole negotiation for the trust formation recently with a wealth management / law firm. Again, I don't want to talk about that too much because first, anonymity is part of the reason why you do a trust. And then the other reason is I don't know how it's going to work out, right? So I don't want to promote it, but that's the avenue that I'm moving in. But I got to get my infrastructure together before I can even operate on, like I can't even think about a business till I have a business entity and my legal structure set up so I can actually do stuff. Because even with the vehicle, you can't transfer the registration of the vehicle to a visitor KRA pin, which a KRA pin is like your tax ID number. So there's some things that you need before you can start really moving into the business. So this trip has been about building the people infrastructure and the physical infrastructure of me having a place to stay, transportation, being able to do laundry and like being in a stable environment and knowing what's around and be able to move around. and then I can go more on the offense on looking at what I want to do. Which it's been so hectic. Like my time every day is full. I've been taking meetings with people. It's funny because I've been meeting with a lot of diasporans from Kenyan diaspora that have been out of Kenya for 20, 30 years and now are seeking to come back. University professors, very accomplished people. And it's always, first of all, it's a really, I think it's funny that they want to talk to me, first of all, because I'm new here. But I don't know, I can help people get acclimated to what's going on. And I just share my opinion and let people decide what they want. But the energy is so good, like just meeting these people, hearing different stories, especially of Kenyans that have left and are coming back. Their perspective is so interesting. And I don't know, it feels really, it feels definitely really good that people want to talk to me. But it's curious to me, like, I'm surprised, like they don't want to talk to family members here or stuff. They want to talk to me, or they probably do both. But I'm building connections. So where do Kenyans knock off most of their money? What do you mean, like spending it? I don't know what that means. Someone tell me. You're doing a great job. Thank you. If you don't mind, how much did you pay for your property and what was the down payment and repayment period? The one in Lavington, I purchased when the showroom was already up. And so it was basically a 1-year payment plan, paid quarterly. The total price was $6 million. When I first booked it, the exchange rate was a lot different by 20%. It was about 40,000 US dollars. You put 20% down, and then I paid the rest in basically 4 payments, I believe. And then this property, I did 100%. So the asking price on the 2-bedroom was 12 million or 12.2, 12.3, because it was the top floor. And I got it for 10.5 million because I said, I'll just do 100% down because the project was almost done. And crazily, they had a unit that I thought was a good unit on a high floor. So Sexy Kenyan Able, appreciate you plugging us, especially on the real estate side of things. I've been in Kenya for 5 years after living in the US for 18 years. Though I'm Kenyan, it's great to have such transparency. Thank you. Gabriel, for the longest time, it's been land, but for speculation purposes. So some of the people I met own quite a bit of land. I noticed that North Coast, people are going to buy a lot of land because it's quite affordable. Land is not cheap anywhere around Nairobi. If you guys watch the Tigoni video, you're looking at 18 million an acre, 12 million an acre maybe. If you go further out, I think you're looking at 100,000 an acre. Oh, try to buy within your budget, buy low budget properties with good location and resell to my West African communities. Yeah. That's why I know I'm hyper focused on quality, but if the property is cheaper and it's in the same area, as long as you're getting what you're paying for, don't pay a high price and the quality is bad. If you're paying a medium to low price in a good area and the quality is bad, okay, whatever, because someone will rent it, so it's not the end of the world. But as far as providing value, assessing the quality is probably something that I'm able to contribute the most. I really hope you keep an open mind if you decide to visit Silver Hill and Tatu City. Would really appreciate seeing it from your critical eye. Yo, man, some of these places do not want you filming. They don't want you looking at their stuff. Tatu City and the people within there are very protective about their information, or they're keeping it under wraps. Like when you see videos from there, they're highly produced because they're only allowing certain people to do it. So again, and is this new Silver Hill? Because when I was there, there's Unity, and I don't know the name of the other place. It was quite affordable. Like they were in the 4 million type range. I did look at those properties, but I don't know what they're called. And then I looked at, what is it? Something Ridge, and those are where the plots are. The houses are beautiful. People are putting really nice houses over there, but the land cost is crazy. I don't get it. I did notice I was at Dr. Mattress because I ordered mattresses, obviously. They do have furniture too, and that's in the mall, by the way. I saw that the shipping address where the stuff comes from is Tatu City, and they have like a flat 10% corporate tax abatement for like 5 years, and then it steps up, but it's still lower than the 30 or 35% corporate tax that they have in Kenya general. So that is interesting. So I don't know what you would need to do to make Tatu City your business address, but that is something to look into, because then now you're not subject to those type of taxes. But do you need a physical location? Did you help Rello sneak out yet? I can't help with that. Have you explored the 300-mile coastline? Potential everywhere. Not yet. That's on the agenda. Honestly, guys, that's one of the things I wanted to learn from Rello, because he does all those fundraisers. I'm like, how? Like, there's people are donating thousands of dollars. Like, I want to raise some money to go do a coast tour. I mean, look, I could pay for it, but if I pay for it, I'm doing what I want to do. If I do a real estate coast tour and it's fundraised or whatever, then I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna bring in a whole bunch of content. But guys, it takes a lot of time to source the people, vet the people, and then I'm meeting them for the first time. That could be weird. And then, how are we going to do the content, shooting, editing? Like, it's a lot of work. So when this stuff comes out, like in Nairobi now, I'm like, the agents are reaching out to me. Sometimes they're inviting me to certain things, so it makes it a lot easier. But the coast, I have to learn everything all over again. And then now I'm probably not going to drive there, right? So then now it's the whole thing. Like if I want to go see land in Malindi, you're taking an Uber to an open plot of land, and then now you're stuck out there. There's a lot of logistics involved with this stuff. Do you have the traffic booklet that explains the rules? I'll explain the roundabouts and all that. You could also pay an instructor. I got people that show me, but are there rules? Are there actually rules? I feel like all the rules are unwritten. You're going to be successful with your Kenyan business. I'm excited for you. Thanks, C. Griffin. I appreciate it. I actually love Silver Hill and Tattoo. It reminds me of the brownstones in the States. I think it's great. Let me look this up. Goodness. Silver Hill Tattoo City, just so I can understand what you guys are talking about. I'll bring it up on the screen. Why not? Let's do it like that. We'll do it live. Is this Unity Homes? Hold on. Let's see if the internet will support what I'm trying to do here. Let me get the right screen up. Hold on. Hold up. I don't have my normal setup. I apologize. Let's bring this over here. What if we make this big? Does that look good? See, I keep seeing Unity Homes. Silver Hill, no. Silver Hill townhouses by Unity. Sorry, guys, I gotta make this smaller. Okay. Oh, they're building like. Okay, guys, I don't get it. I'm sorry. All this land, all this land available, all these places you could be, and you want to live in a row home in the middle of nowhere, all the way up Thika Road, when there's beautiful hills. Why don't you buy a plot on the hill? Why do you want to live in a row home? Watch, where's the price? I bet you, first of all, they probably don't put the price. Oh, okay. Nope, no price. Oh, okay. 43 million. 43 million. I could buy the land and build a bigger house right outside of Tatu City. $335,000. Quanini. Why? Why? Okay, I couldn't have the chat up when we were talking about that. So hold on. I want to see what you guys are saying. I'm like Section 8. They're building British Georgian townhome. What? See, okay. I feel like this only appeals to Kenyans because I've seen all that stuff in the States. That has no interest to me. Why are we recreating that here? I don't get it. I don't get it. Being negatively affected by all the development happening Kileleshwa, Lavington, Kilimani. Okay, hold on. Let me go back up to where I was. Okay. Oh, yeah, they don't want to talk about the Relo thing. Okay. Unfortunately, family members will lie. What's up with that? Why is like I don't want to get into that. That is a big like why is it cool to just to lie? Everybody has something in Nairobi to buy. Not all properties in New York City have the same quality and location. It depends on your goals. Yep. Same in the West Indies. You certainly have a mature and professional pedigree, not like those excitable passwords. Look, I like most of them, the popular guys. I do like them, but I get the difference, you know. But just because I'm different don't mean I don't like them. I think they're cool. They make mistakes, but I make mistakes too, you know. He already addressed the issue. Just go back and watch. I didn't really address it, only a little bit. Because to be honest, because I have met him in person. I want to give him the opportunity. We'll have a conversation before I want to talk about it. Like, you know, but it's not, you know, I didn't like anything about what I saw. Sadly, family members will try to get pocket money or an advantage of some kind. You're transparent about your journey, and your credibility is valued. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And that is unfortunate. I don't really understand that. How, like, dang, people would do that. Your mom is beautiful. She looks like a superstar. Thank you. This is the best community ever. Because some of them other communities, they might have been saying weird stuff. Hey Ryan, have you considered asking for a price without the interior finishing being done? That can help you finish it your liking and with a better quality. That's a good point. That is a good, interesting thing. I don't know the good contractors yet, so that would be an issue. But that could be pretty cool. Um, although the issue that you'll run into is like the plumbing placement, because when you tile, especially in concrete walls, it's not very forgiving. You know, if you have wood framing construction, you can move stuff around, but in concrete, the electrical, the plumbing, wherever it's located is where you got to put your stuff. But that's an interesting point, actually. Um, I'm not that upset with the quality to do that, but you could. Kenyans abroad are semi-detached from Kenyan society. They're in-betweeners. Would you be interested in visiting an occupied Lavington home and sharing your thoughts on its location and the structure and all that? Yeah, I had one. It wasn't occupied, but it was for sale, like an estate in Lavington. I think it was a 5 bedroom. We were going to do it, and then they got an offer on it, and then they didn't want to do it anymore. And that would have been cool because I haven't seen stuff like that. Also, I was in Upper Hill with Christine, and we saw some Kenyan developed properties that were for rent. One was for sale. You could tell the architecture was different. To be honest, the interior design was probably like older style, like, but it was very warm. But the details in the exterior and certain things was fantastic and looked like they put a lot of extra work into it. And the build quality to me showed like like the Chinese stuff, flat concrete painted. That's it. The Kenyan stuff, there was some beautiful masonry work. I couldn't believe it. It was real too. Like we don't see real bricks in the U.S. They might have a brick facade, but that's it. Can we talk about the Kenya visa renewal process? I heard violators are being deported. I saw this Kenyan couple left. Yeah, that was travel check-ins, I guess. I didn't see, they made it seem like they had to leave real fast in their video. I don't know, it could be, you know, how you got to title stuff in YouTube, but I never wanted to even try to do the extensions and all that. I just hate dealing with paperwork and government stuff. My solution was just to leave and travel other places on the continent and then come back within a couple weeks or whatever. So next time I go, I plan to do January to June if I can. Actually, I have a big decision that I have to make with my dogs at home, but I was just going to go to Cape Town for like 2 weeks or something in between rather than have to try to do these visa renewals. Also, been advancing my conversations with the law firms and stuff. So eventually I'm going to do some kind of residency. The digital nomad residency is probably the best one to apply for, not the investor one. And that was a big conversation that we had with the lawyers. The cost difference is significant, and you have to show less things to be able to do it. So I know that's maybe a bit privileged to be able to just leave and come back and take another vacation, but that was my answer. I'm sorry. I wouldn't plan more than 3 months, but especially if you're planning to move here, I mean, you might as well just get your residency situation sorted out at that point. You are in a better position to give a perspective they can relate to Western, especially where quality is considered compared to the family. Yeah, that's true. Because people look at the tiles and they think it's fine. And I'm like, it's black in half of these grout lines. Like, why is it black? It looks dirty. And they're like, no, it looks fine. And I'm like, what? What do you think about a 4 bedroom apartment for investment resident? No, I wouldn't buy it for investment. No. They're nice, but not as an investment. Buy in the Westlands. Silver Hill is a Unity Homes project. Yeah, I don't get it, guys. I'm sorry, I don't get it. Within your inner circle, with regard to all the development happening, have you heard of any complaints from residents complaining about the existing utilities? I hear all these people talking about the infrastructure isn't enough and the water's going to run out here in Kilimani. I personally don't know anyone with these issues, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Um, I'm trying to think if anything has ever popped up about that. Not really. Um, when I first, no, that was last time I was here. I did witness the flooding at certain points, but that really has to do with the roads more than anything. Like if you're in certain lower areas, it could flood and you will not be able to drive a small car there, hence the truck partially. Driving a yellow taxi in NYC might be a good 101 into the Nairobi driving. Yeah. Nairobi's probably even crazier than New York City, but comparable. Kenyan driving is more rhythm. Yeah, it is. Less rules. The moment you follow rules like you would in the States, you get into an accident. Yeah, that's for sure. You gotta, it's a vibe. It is a rhythm is probably the best way to describe it. There's a rhythm to it. My thing about the driving, if you could keep moving forward, keep moving until someone blocks you, or you can't, basically until someone blocks you, you just can't go anymore. Just keep filling the space. And then if you can't fill the space, just wait until there's space and then go. That's in traffic. Crazy because you get uncomfortably close to everything. You would never get that close to any object in the US driving. The other problem is the lines. And actually, probably one of the more difficult things about driving is the navigation, because it's hard to know where the turns are. If you're not like, now I know where like some of the turns are on Waiyaki Way under the expressway and certain areas where you can turn and the different roundabouts. Sometimes there's two roundabouts combined next to each other. And that's where being on the other side of the road gets confusing, because you got to be like, wait, which way am I allowed to go? They're building British Georgian townhouses. My mom said it looked like Section 8. How much money will you be giving away each year? What do you mean? Giving away? Actually, that law firm, that's one of the things that I liked about them. They do a lot of like community stuff that's real impact. So with whatever business, we do need like a social responsibility aspect to what we're doing. In the UK, we call that premium housing. Wasn't Tatu City started by one of the Kenyan Fortin? It's a New Zealand owned corporation that bought Tatu City, which used to be a coffee field. I forget how many acres it is. Obviously, they have some agreements with the government, but it's a foreign company that owns that area. Dude, I told you to keep an open mind. Maybe watch the TV of the American lady who visited the townhomes. Yeah, send me the video, but I don't get it. Why? It looks nice. I'm sure it'll be nice, but why? I'm in the suburbs now, and the suburbs are antisocial. That's my big problem. And now you're far from Nairobi. You're in this like Leave It to Beaver, like very highly restricted area. I don't get it. Sorry. I don't get it. I think Tatu is affordable housing for residents where the jobs are right on the premises. What's affordable? Well, no, that one development is affordable. The rest is overpriced. If you bought right outside of Tatu City, half the price. Tatu City and Two Rivers are special economic zones, so getting your business address there comes exactly. That is interesting. The tax benefits. That's Northland City, which will be bigger than Tatu City, owned by the Kenyatta family. Oh. Guys, that stuff is for Kenyans that want to stay in Kenya but feel like they're in Europe or the US suburbs, which I think the suburbs are dying. I think the suburbs kind of suck and they're antisocial, and I'm not a big fan of it. So recreating that here, I have no interest in. I'll go check them out, but I have no interest in it. What do you think about Konza City? Would you invest there? I keep seeing some land sellers sell stuff there. Again, I'm very skeptical. These things scream utopia, and if you know anything about utopia, it doesn't work. These highly planned things I'm very skeptical about, and it feels like hype to me. And I don't like all these extra rules. I like freedom. I'd rather have a country house somewhere than to pay more to live in one of them kind of places. Maybe I'll change my mind. I only had a brief thing at Tatu City. I did spend most of the day there, but guys, I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. That's what I thought. Lots of multinationals are putting facilities. When do you qualify for the retirement visa, age 35, proof of 2,000 per month? Yeah, I probably could do that one as well. Again, I got to weigh the benefits. Ryan, I just got an offer for my Shangri-La apartment for 13 million and paid 9 to position myself for paying. That's cool. See, that development I don't understand, but hey, the prices have been going up though. Myself for Pandora, new project in Kilimani, groundbreaking will be there soon. Amethyst, maybe. That's what's up though. Look at that. 10, 11, 12. 4 M's. I'm doing it wrong. You know, I'm worried about all this. I should have done that. B Tattoos was started by a New Zealander who was also an oligarch in Russia. He has registered tattoo in Delaware. So Tatu City is now a U.S. company and subject. That's crazy. Oh, really nice. Yeah. I got a good tiles guy. Oh, we need that because goodness gracious, what's going on with the tile? Not sure if you're familiar with most houses in Kenya where they would carve out stone. Most houses and apartments built in the 2000s were made of them. And I like that kind of build. Yeah, maybe it looks really nice. And that's why I don't like when people judge the nationality of the developer. I think that's a lazy way to judge a project. I don't think that's very useful because I was very impressed with the build quality overall. Now, these buildings were older too, so that was the other thing. But like, you could tell some craftsmanship went into making them at the time they were made. So that content is going to be quite interesting because it's a little bit different than some of these other properties that we've looked at. Visited a school in Thika made out of carved stone like that. Ooh. And the stone blends into your surroundings in time like old school Scottish people used to do. That's interesting. Understand the driving rules. Ignorance isn't a viable defense in court. Okay. I think it's funny that you think there's driving rules. I mean, I know that there's rules, but do you see the people driving on the wrong side of the road to pass each other every 2 seconds or no? How affordable are legal fees in regards to property transactions? I'm still not a fan of using the lawyers on off-plan developments, but that's for me. You guys probably should. There are some best practices. I'm going to make a video about that. Some things that you should make sure are in the contract. And I learned one recently that I'm having an issue with. Actually, my contract's correct. They're doing something that violates the contract here that I'm working on. Again, I'll put that video out if it doesn't get resolved. I don't like leveraging the platform to blast anybody, but you guys purchasing need to be aware of this scenario so it doesn't happen to you. I'm your crash test dummy. I'm out here doing it, taking the risks, so you guys can learn from any issues I might have. Normally, you'll pay like 1% to 2%. Technically, there's lawyers are bound to a certain pricing scheme when they're doing property conveyancing, but I forget the number, but it's in between 1% and 2%, I believe. The plumbing, placement, electrical wiring would have to be done for sure. Everything else undone. Finding a great contractor is as easy as asking for referrals for contractors who did the 5. Yeah, the people who did the hotels are really good. Prince Travels, what's up, man? I seen you in some of them suspicious lives. I was sipping a little something, and this chat has sobered me up. It's good to get sobered up. I don't know. It's a nice Sunday. Sid, what do you think about the location of Pandora? I'm curious what you think about that, Sid. Are you familiar? Sideway question. How much would you hypothetically require to be saved up to relocate to Nairobi to have a middle-class life? It's not really the savings, it's the monthly income. To have an American-style middle-class life, you need between $3,000 and $4,000 per month if you're paying rent. If you purchase a place, probably $2,000 a month, you can live quite a nice lifestyle here in Nairobi. So if you wanted to buy a place and furnish it and do all that, 6 to 8 million, $40,000 to $60,000, probably something like that, to purchase your place and get everything set up, and you can get an affordable vehicle if you want it, or you could Uber on a 4K budget, $4,000. You could Uber everywhere you want need to buy a vehicle. The only problem with Uber is you're kind of limited to the areas that Ubers go, and then beyond that, now it's going to be a little sketchy for transportation. If you ever want to leave Nairobi, you want to go further, you're going to have to hire a driver and do stuff like that, which is also doable. So you don't really need to purchase a vehicle. I just like the independence of it. So you would need that amount coming in. I'd say 3 to 4K US dollars per month for sure. I mean, 4K, you basically just do whatever you want every day. 3K, still similar, maybe a little tighter. Like you can't go crazy all the time, but and you can live much less. I'm just saying, like to really live it nice, not have to really think about money too much. But if you purchase a place, I drop it down by 1,000, so $2,000 per month if you're not paying rent is fine here. I don't think you need a lawyer to buy off-plan properties. You pay legal fees to the seller. Yeah, so now you're paying 2 attorneys. But for you guys that don't know anything, and maybe you haven't even purchased anything where you're from and don't have any real estate experience, I wish I could give you like a law firm that I know is going to like make sure to take care of you. And at some point I will be able to do that, I think, and be like, just let them do it and you'll be in good hands. It'll be worth it. But if you're like, again, I've been in real estate 15 years. So I have background knowledge that helps me. Also, what I realize is Kenyan law is based off of British law, which the US law is based off of British law as well. Very similar. Because I had to look up some statutes. I'm telling you, I'm having like a legal dispute with the developer here. It's not a make or break thing, but it's an issue. And again, I'll talk about it in detail. I'm waiting for the resolution to see what they're going to do, because I think I have them. Because the contract says pretty plainly, and they are not doing that. So we'll see. This is a good question. Which legal structure is appropriate for a U.S. citizen investing in multiple rental properties in Kenya? You should watch the video with the law firm, which is at like 70% uploaded right now, but it might have crashed, so we'll see. But that'll be in members only as soon as possible. I will try to articulate some of that conversation, but again, please don't let me be the only source of your information. Please check, talk to other people, watch the video, because that's the lawyers talking about it, and I may misquote certain things. There is a tax on gross rental income. There is also a corporate income tax. So there's a couple ways, and it's a mathematical solution on that front. Like if you're worried about taxes, should I just buy them in my own name and pay the gross tax, the gross rent income tax, or should I have a business that owns the properties and pays the corporate tax, but that's on net profit, so you can have expenses? Where I'm way not comfortable talking about is like how they look like, because in the US, I know like you can expense certain things and it's not a red flag, but other things are. And then, your accountant knows kind of what to do. So that's like the tax part of it. I am leaning towards putting all my properties in a trust so that technically I don't own them. That because you got to pay U.S. tax as well on your income, even if you make income overseas. But if you have a trust, technically you don't own the trust. The trust is very protective, and it's hard to trace you to the trust. So there's benefits to that. I think these are the conversations that you probably need to speak with the law firm that we interviewed with, where the video's coming out. This is what they do, is foreign direct investment. They do everything around that. So setting up your business entities, helping you with the right work permit, residency, basically all the legal obstacles that I'm actually running into and that you'll run into trying to do business here, they do all that stuff. So that's why it's going to be a good video. But those are some of the things to consider. Basically, I would say personal ownership, the trust, or a business. A lot of it has to do with taxes, but some of it has to do with like tying your name to the property. Liability is not really as much of an issue. In the US, if someone trips and fall in your apartment, they could try to sue you. Then you have to have insurance, all that kind of stuff. I think people can do stuff like that here, but I think it's way less common. So hopefully that answers your question enough. A group of Kenyan Americans have managed to finance and build apartments through a Chinese contractor, greatly reducing the cost of ownership. However, you must join the group SACO. Okay, interesting. What's your career background field? I've been in real estate for over 15 years. I've been a licensed real estate agent for about 12. I bought my first fourplex property when I was in the military. I was house hacking at Fort Hood, Texas. I bought that in 2010, right after the financial crisis collapse in 2008. I've been a licensed broker for many years, and now I have my own real estate brokerage in New Jersey, small brokerage. We have about 7 agents now that help people buy and sell homes. I've been a licensed mortgage loan officer, done probably over $50 million in mortgage loans. I was in property preservation back again near the financial crisis. We would do the logistics for foreclosed properties to get them back on the market. We'd take care of the properties, maintain them, and I was like a liaison for that. I worked as a analyst for a commercial appraisal firm in Philadelphia. So we dealt with a lot of eminent domain things as far as valuing properties. Certain towns wanted to force communities to have public sewer instead of septic systems, and we'd have to analyze the value add there. Pretty, like, if you want to learn a lot about real estate, get involved with one of those commercial appraisal firms that do these interesting issues. If your guys are familiar in Philadelphia, Delaware Avenue along the river, they did an eminent domain along the river to be able to build these walkways. I worked on the analysis of what is the value of like a 5-foot stretch across someone's property on the water line for an easement, because they could take your property, but they have to pay you for it. But how do you value like a very small strip of land across your property? Like, what is the value? What is the fair market value of that? for the city to pay you to take the land so that they can build a trail. So those are some of the things that we worked on. So that's kind of my background. I've been in like so many different aspects of the real estate industry, but my main thing has always been, I also buy and flip houses and buy properties and just rent them out. So, but the reason why I don't talk about it is basically I stopped since COVID because the market, which has led me here, because I think this is a much more attractive market to play in than in the US. And I'm never taking out debt ever again. I'm like anti-debt now. I used to love debt, had millions of dollars in mortgage debt, and I'm trying to reduce all that stuff down to zero at this point. So that's a bit of my background. I should visit the whole area in New York. Lots ready for redevelopment. I can't mess with blue states with all these weird landlord law. I can't do it. Taxes. Oh, Ryan, do you think that property management is under threat from AI? No, I don't. I love property management. It's my favorite business. It's my most profitable business. It's the most straightforward one. It's the one that I can count on in the States. It's my favorite business that I still do. I can manage a lot of things here, but AI is not going to be able to like find the right contractor and then look behind them and make sure they did a good job. And I don't think it could do that. I think AI can reduce the amount of workforce that places need, but you need a skilled person to be able to use the AI still. PC, a lawyer that I'm speaking to said that it was wiser to own in your name until it is done, then transfer it to your business. Why? And I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just wondering why. Kish Washington, how are you? How are you? I hope you're having a nice Sunday. My mama is one of the Kenyan pioneers in conveyancing. You must meet. I insist. Sure, send me the info. I'm looking into a trust from Cook Islands or St. Kitts. I would be interested in finding about the protection strategies that a trust in Kenya can provide. Yeah, I looked into those. Those are quite popular. I don't trust, even in the US, or something that I don't know a ton about. So I don't know I can't give you the difference between them, but if you're wanting to avoid taxes for your operations in Kenya, I don't think the US can tap into, I don't know how they would find your trust, number one, to be able to tax it. I could be very wrong, so please don't take that advice without doing your own research. But that's where I'm coming from on that topic. And avoiding taxes isn't the biggest deal unless you start making a lot of money. But the reason why I was doing the trust is because I wanted to be able to purchase freehold land here. And you can make your trust in a way that makes it considered a local Kenyan entity, and therefore you can purchase freehold, which was my main objective. A secondary objective is the tax situation. So that's kind of where I was coming from with it. You need to make a show selling Nairobi like selling Sunset with Jerome. I've always wanted to do that. I think it would be so dope, and especially because I would know how to do the production. It would be fire. Kish, I'm American. In Kenya, eminent domain is a total cash grab for the insiders. Yeah. Do you deal with properties in Kenya? I've been purchasing here, and I manage my own property here now for like 2 months. I'm anti-mortgage since I'm Muslim. It's forbidden because it's exploitation. And you know what's the funny thing is, when you see the Somalis doing so well in business, and you see a lot of Muslims do well in business, debt will help you grow. but debt helps you go up and it can help you go down faster. So it's dangerous and it can be risky. You're good. You can come out. Where do you see Nairobi in 10 years, especially in upcoming developments in Westlands? Whereas Kai today, he has a very interesting take on different developments in Kenya. Kai is enjoying his life out here. So I know that's what, guys, I'm all about having different opinions. Like I don't want to have people that agree with me all the time. So more opinions, the better. Never feel like it's bad to disagree. I'm like, I don't know. That's where I'm coming from. I like to disagree, and I'm not like emotionally attached to my opinions, and they can change, right? Like I'm like my opinion is Westlands is okay. I was talking to Kai about this, and ever since I started looking at real estate here, has been my probably biggest thesis is that if you're from the U.S. and you don't have to be from the U.S., look at New York City. That is Nairobi 20 years ago. And so you literally are like, I feel like you're coming from the future and you're coming to the past here, and you can see the future because you already experienced it or saw it before. Now, are there differences? Of course. There's a politics risk here, there's government risk, you got to know how to operate here when you're moving money. There's all kinds of other issues that you can run into, but if you're just looking at the market, I feel like it's the New York City, because all the business, like international business, is in New York, like in the U.S. Like there's certain places where international business goes. Well, Nairobi is one of those places, and it's just starting. Or not just starting, but it seems to be ramping up. I mean, there's a reason why so many businesses are starting to come here. There's a reason why the UN decided to come here, even despite some of the news and political issues that may be going on. So I'd say that Westlands is Manhattan, and Kilimani and all that are different boroughs. And so why wouldn't you buy in Manhattan? That's my thesis. That's what I think. I can change my mind, but that's been consistent for the last 2 years I've been here. The Plaid Unicorn, what's going on? Just dropping in here to say what's good. What's up, man? Thanks for being a member. I appreciate you. When did you arrive in Kenya? I first arrived in January of 2024. This is now my third trip, which I'll be here for 90 days. My first trip was a month. My second trip was 6 weeks, and this is 3 months. A good property management can make or break your rental portfolio. Absolutely, because preserving the value of your asset is probably one of the most important things, because the asset is worth so much. Grace Victorious, is members only content more profitable than opening up your content to general public? It's only members first, so there's early access. So like you guys are missing out on the Pandora groundbreaking, and you're going to miss out when the Amethyst project comes out. Especially if people are looking to buy, you'll get early access to be able to see those things. It's actually not exactly about the money. It's like people have been asking me to do stuff for them, and so it's like you can at least give back in a way, So I don't know. I'm playing with it. The general public, though, like I don't know. I think it's a better community when we have the members. You should check out places on Mombasa Road. Yeah, it's on my agenda. Sycamore, Thika Greens, for sure, because those areas are more affordable. It's a little dusty over there. Oh, my mom. This is my mom, guys. You're also on the land development board in West Hampton. So I'm on the if you're Kenyan, that's like the land control board, the people that make the land control. I'm a member in my local town of that, which I forgot on the resume because I was talking too much. James, cool info. Thank you. Martino, make sure you get a certificate of occupation from the developer, which you get from the city, can protect you in insurance cases. Yep. I think you're right with your comparison, Ryan. I live it in New York City. So guys, just look at what happened in New York City, and I would apply that information to here. Obviously, you gotta, interpret it based off of the differences here. You can't, it's not exactly the same, but as a general understanding, 1,000%. Hello, sir. I have a home outside of ATL. I owe 100K, but it's worth around 350. I wanted to sell for equity, but I'm not opposed to renting it out either. What are your thoughts? What's the rent for? What's the mortgage? That's what I would want to know. I would earlier. I've been selling property personally. I sold my first property that I bought in 2010 for over double what I paid for it, and then I sold another property. I bought that one in 2020, and it appreciated like $40,000 or $50,000. Sold that. They were cash flowing, but when you take into consideration capital expenditures over a long period of time, like you'll have to replace the roof in 30 years. So you would take the cost of the roof and divide it by 30 years and apply that on a annual expense. And really, you should be saving that. Same thing with the windows, kitchens, flooring, and all that. Sometimes you're not going to make as much as you think you will over a long period of time. And so there's other asset classes that I think could do better. But I did see Warren Buffett is investing in home builders. So is he getting bullish on, like, what? I wonder what his explanation of why he was doing that. Also, the Federal Reserve may lower interest rates, which may cause price increases, because I was thinking the market is, I don't think the market has much room to go up because affordability is such an issue, but I could be wrong about that. I don't like making predictions, guys. These are just some thoughts, though. I like the stock market better, right? Like, so if you see, but that's your home. Is that your personal residence? Because when the equity is in your house, it's a little bit more complicated. If that's a rental property, if you sell that and invest the money in the equities market with $250,000, there's no property management that you have to deal with, no repairs, and if you get a 10, 12% return on it, safer. I don't know. It just depends on how old are you. I'm not a financial advisor. These are, I have more questions that I would have answers. I would need to know more information, I think. But that's where my mind's going with your comment. How do you compare repeatable Kenyan developments versus Chinese developments? What do you mean repeatable? I think comparing just by nationality is a bad idea. I've seen some pretty garbage Chinese developers, and I've seen ones that are good. So it's just saying Chinese or Kenyan, because Kenyan developers have a reputation of not completing the projects or running out of money and stuff like that, especially in comparison to the Chinese. But some are like, I don't know enough to say. I just want to use that as my measuring stick. I would look at each developer individually. Register in Mauritius or Seychelles. Yeah, but then you can't have freehold. That's the problem. Are you doing any trading? Trading is a scam. Do I own stocks? Yes. Do I own Bitcoin and Ethereum? Yes. Do I move my positions frequently? No, I don't even really look at them. How much is a house in your place? What do you mean? Here? 2 bedrooms in this place are going for 12 million. Current home prices, especially in New Jersey, are not justifiable by any logic other than runaway. No, it's justifiable by the fact that people are paying the money. Market value is what a willing buyer and willing seller can agree upon. And so if there's lots of willing buyers and sellers at that price, then that is the market value. Now, you can say it's not worth it to you, which is totally legitimate. New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the US, so it has that going for it. I'm not a big proponent of New Jersey. Like, I was going to get something in Florida. I still might for tax purposes. But I don't know. Interesting info. Please share. Mauritius. Okay. Is there a property purchase you regret? The Lavington property, I don't regret it because the price I paid, just kind of like Sid, I could probably sell for more already. I think that developers kind of below average or average, probably average is the right word. And the management is kind of crappy. It was kind of an experiment. Now I know much better. Would I've made the same decision? Probably not. Do I regret it? No. But I'll hold it for at least a year, I think. But would I sell it and leverage that money into something else? Maybe. That's the thing about real estate. It's kind of hard to mess it up over a long period of time. That's a lot. I think the stock market is the best place to invest right now, especially when tariff wars was on. Yeah, shoo, buy the dip. It's better than the real estate market. The real estate has a lot of costs that you cannot see. And I was probably one of the worst people, not promoting that, but like, now that I've been in it for so long with properties, if you average out what you're making over a longer period of time, when you had a bad tenant, when you've had repairs, when things start going wrong, it's not as much as it looks like on paper, because people will just take their mortgage payment against what the rent is, or they maybe even have a calculation on expenses and stuff like that. But the capital expenditures is never captured well. And when you do factor in capital expenditures, aka replacing the roof, replacing big ticket items over a long period of time, and then you factor in maybe a bad tenant every couple of years, or 5 years, whatever, you're probably under 10% return. Which, if you're under 10% return, you should be in the stock market, because you can just buy stocks in 3 seconds and you don't have to maintain them. Ethereum has been on a run. Do you sell any car? No. My mortgage is $986 this year. Last year, ooh, the taxes went crazy on you. 4-bedroom, full basement. It's my primary. I'm 42 and I'm the only one here. I wanted to invest the equity, maybe in Kenya. I wouldn't, like, you would need other investments. I would never recommend someone invest 100% of their portfolio, especially at 42 in Kenya, because $250,000 in equity is like a really good cushion and investment platform. And I would get my conservative investments. I would get my conservative investments in place where you're getting, whether you're getting dividend, like large cap dividend paying stocks, and just any kind of like more secure, stable investment. And when that generates like enough income for you, or not income, like I wouldn't take the money out, but I would be trying to make enough income to pay for my lifestyle off of that, or at least like 50% of what you think that you need before I got more aggressive with like overseas stuff. But that's a personal choice. I mean, I'm going to have more conservative advice for people. I'm never going to give you the aggressive thing, you know. Leo residences. Yes, that's the Lavington one. Don't compare yourself with Ryan and he's bigger. Buy something within your budget. Yeah. So the Lavington property I bought with a friend of mine, by the way. So it was $20,000 investment. And I did that because I was like, well, if we get scammed, it's only $20,000, you know? So, I mean, we just jump, I'll jump out the window and do something. And now I was willing to take it's not the risk. I was willing to take the L if need be. But I mitigated the L by bringing in a partner so I could kind of see how's the process work. So that's kind of where I was coming from. I'm your crash test dummy, you know. I'm gonna crash out and do it, and then you guys can be like, oh, okay, well, avoid that over here. But I don't want you guys to do that. Do you think that not owning a home is a sign of failure? No. 10 years ago, I would say that. I mean, in hindsight, when I was telling people to buy houses, I was absolutely correct. And a lot of people that did buy houses that I convinced to buy houses are in really good positions. I question that today, to be honest, in the US. I still think probably owning is good, but I think when you're dealing with these higher interest rates, it becomes more of a situation. Here's the thing you should think about. Okay, your down payment. If you can do VA where you're 0% down, that's almost a no-brainer to do because your ROI, your return on investment, is infinite. And that was my first purchase, was on a VA loan. I didn't put any money. So you can get control of an asset for $400,000 or $500,000. And if the number, you have to make sure the numbers work on the VA, because you could buy a 4-unit multifamily property, and if it cash flows, you can make money out of thin air based off of the. Now you do have debt, and you need to respect the debt, but I think that's okay. Although these higher interest rates are a little bit scarier, and the margins are smaller. Dang, where was I going with this? Oh, not owning a home, a failure. Okay, but say you needed $40,000 for a down payment. Is it better to buy a home with that money and have a mortgage for the 30 years, or invest the $40,000 in the market and you're getting, say, 10%? I probably today invest the money in the stock market than before buying. Definitely not a home. Because the mortgages right now are similar to the rent. And when you have a mortgage, you still have to maintain the property. So it's actually more expensive. It used to be that the mortgage was significantly less than what the rent was. This may or may not apply depending on your market, though. Some markets are a little bit different. But I don't think you're a failure for not owning a home. I think you will be perpetually poor, or I don't want to say lower class, but lower wealth if you don't own assets of appreciating value. Stocks, real estate, cryptocurrency, but don't go too crazy with it. Some kind of business, or things that are business, a little bit different, but you need to, because once you become an owner, you can participate in the economy in a different way. So when people are like, my real estate portfolio, my wealth went crazy after COVID with all the price increases. When you have inflation, I'm benefiting from the inflation, especially, and I don't like to advocate for debt, but when you have fixed debt, so the mortgage payment, I mean, the loan payment doesn't go up. Your property taxes and stuff do, but your loan payment is the same for 30 years. So if the value of money goes down, your payment essentially costs you less while your value of your property goes up. That's really good. And that's what happened to me. Sid, yeah, Powell just said he may be cutting interest rates, so the stock market and crypto is about to go parabolic because of money printing. And I think Trump gets to appoint the next Fed chairman at some point, and whoever that guy is probably going to have some crash out mentality on rates, and it'll be good for a certain amount of time. It probably will be bad for the economy long term, but it'll be good for a short period of time. Guyana Brent, I appreciate your response. No problem, no problem. Hopefully that was helpful. I try to be really careful about giving like straight up advice because it's an unlimited amount of factors to like say, oh yeah, you should do this. Like anyone that says, oh yeah, you should do this without knowing you, yikes. The general rule of thumb, cool, something to think about, but index fund is far better with low expense ratios. Yeah, basically. Right now, years ago, I would have said that's stupid, but today, I agree. Real estate is good for a foreigner than market. I will prefer buying apartments in Nairobi to New York because it appreciates in value quickly than New York City, even better than the stock market. Nairobi is alive, guys. Like, when I first got here, Kenyatta Avenue and Gong Road, they weren't building something. And now there's almost overpass. There's like 30 or 40 developments getting built. Like things happen here real fast. Like the development is crazy. You won't see that anywhere really in the US, except for Florida where they built all them HOAs and all those towns. That's crazy. Anyone that's trying to invest overseas in Kenya or anywhere else, you should go to that place and stay for a while to learn about how things work. Don't just jump out the window, for sure. Or just don't allocate a large percentage of your money to it without knowing. Like if you have $1 million and you want to throw 100,000 into Kenya, that's cool. Members only is like a piece of gold, very valuable. You will learn more about real estate investing. Thank you. And I've kept it fair, guys. Only the like personal stuff I put members only, and it stays there. Everything else comes out public. It's just on a delay. But I appreciate that. This has been a cool conversation. I appreciate you guys. I'm probably hopping off. This is 2 hours. I think this is good. I've been tired because I went out this weekend. And super cool conversation. Again, I didn't want to get into the drama too much before I talk to the person. At least give them a chance to say what they got to say. They don't got to answer to me, but I mean, I'm not going to, I don't know. I just think it's the right thing to do. But I don't want people making it bad for Black Americans out here, for sure. So that's where it's at, guys. I wonder if my connection's bad. Oh, many Kenyans do the same. There's double taxation agreements, Mauritius and Seychelles, yet they are tax havens and your true ownership remains hidden. Oh, okay. That's cool. As always, thank you, Ryan. Thanks, PC. Sid, always appreciate your input. Are you out here yet? Or is that September? I forget. But we got to link up. If there's anything I could do for you guys or whatever, you can reach out to me. My Instagram is everywhere, but I'll put it in here. That's the best way to reach me, like directly. If you want to like take up a lot of my time with a lot of questions, join the inner circle. We'll do a consultation. I'll talk to you, But if you have a quick question or something, I usually try to still answer people, to be honest. But um, it's like a respect thing. Like, I appreciate it because I could have a lot of fun out here and not do any of this. So at least, you know, doing something is nice. Because some people ask me like really in-depth questions. I'll get an email that's like 5 paragraphs, and I'm like, dude, come on. Like, I love talking about real estate, but now I gotta write you a 5 paragraph email. It was nice having your mom on here. Thank you. Yeah, it was cool. I feel kind of bad because I haven't talked to her in a couple days. And my dog, she's been watching my dogs. That's a whole nother thing. Because I got to decide when I'm supposed to come back out here for 6 months. Am I bringing my dogs? Because my dogs get to play in the yard. They swim in the pool. They have a lot of fun at my house. Am I going to put them in an apartment? Martino, thank you for the info. I'll look into it. No, he got to check in with Chief Fagan. You are well appreciated. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. It's crazy how this has grown. So I appreciate the community. It's like really cool, like-minded people. We're all kind of on a good energy, not any hedonistic type stuff. So it's pretty cool. What's the occupancy rate? This is the biggest question. I don't know. What I hear is that the demand for 1 bedrooms is astronomical right now. That's why all the developers are building 1 and 2 bedroom developments pretty much. They're not even adding 3 and 4 bedrooms to their developments. But I haven't personally seen it, so I can't speak to it. When I have a year's worth of data on my Lavington property, I'll share that. That might go members only, to be honest, because I'm just put the whole every month what happened. But yeah, that's what's going on. Hopefully that answers the question though. But that's why the Airbnb stuff is a little risky, because is it a 50% occupancy rate on short term? Is it 75? I don't know. And I think it depends on the development. Because I know Skynest looks like it always has people in and out of there every time I go over there. So even for older development, it just has a good reputation. It has that concierge thing when you first go in. So I think some developments, like the winning developments that people want to stay at, I think they have good occupancy. Some of these ones that didn't hit the mark, probably not as good, but I'm just speculating. All right, guys, appreciate you. See you later. Let me know what you need. See ya. Oh, wait, one more thing. Shout out Jesse Whitehorn for the super sticker, $20. I appreciate you. I'm gonna send you a picture of what I like. I don't know, when I'm at a nice restaurant. I'll give you a review or something. I appreciate you though. And just be the $5 super chat. I'm an older African American engaged to a beautiful Kenyan woman. I'm aware that my American has to do with proximity to whites. It's a stench. Yikes. I feel you though. I get where you're coming from. All right, guys. See you. Appreciate you. Empty apartments scare people. Austin talked about it. Yes, he did. He been cracking me up with that. So, All right, guys. I'm out of here.